Thanks for tuning in to another episode of the Urban Scope podcast. Today we have some WNBA predictions for you on this NFL Sunday. Today also starts the first day of WNBA Playoffs, which probably next year they have to fix that because, mixing in the NFL football with the WNBA or any other league kind of creates a viewership issue, mostly for any other, league. So even if it was, NBA, most people would pick the NFL over the WNBA or NBA or whatever other league. The NFL is kind of considered king. More people view NFL than any other league, even though basketball is a more global league and a more global organization. The NFL has more pull and, there are lesser games. So it's more important. Each game is more important than a basketball or football game, and definitely baseball, who has over 180 some games, I believe. Um, but on another side note, I'm very excited today to watch the WNBA playoffs. I will be watching the NFL games too and talking them back and forth. Um, but I just wanted to give my predictions for who I think will win it all. So I'll go through each matchup and kind of give my predictions from each matchup. So first you have New York Liberty against the Atlanta Dream. So the New York Liberty are number 1 seeded against the 8th ranked Atlanta Dream. Of course, I think that game is going to be a sweep. So it's going to be a 2-0 for the not Atlanta Dream, for New York Liberty. Jonquel Jones and Stewie and Nescu, I think it'll be too much for the Atlanta Dream. So I don't even think that matchup would be close. The scores might be close, like towards the last game, but it's going to be pretty much a wash for the most part. Then there's the Las Vegas Aces, who ranked 4th against the 5th ranked Seattle. I have the Las Vegas Aces to win that one 2-0 as well in a sweep. The Aces have struggled this year, but I think with their experience and pedigree, they're on a right track to at least make it back to the championship. So I have them winning that matchup 2-0. Then you have the Minnesota Lynx against the Phoenix Mercury. I think I have Minnesota winning that series 2-1. I think Nafisha Collier and the team will be too much for the Mercury. The Mercury have an older team with Tarasi and Brittany Griner. So I think they'll give them a tough matchup, but ultimately I think Minnesota pulled that one out 2-1. They've been kind of underrated. Minnesota's been underrated this year. A lot of people have been, with the headlines of the Caitlin Clark and the Angel Reese stories, kind of their team success kind of got swept under the rug. They are the, second ranked seed. So I have them winning that series against the Mercury fairly easy. Then you have the number 3 ranked Connecticut Sun against the 6th ranked Indiana Fever. Now, this is the only upset I've picked pretty much throughout all the matchups. I think that Indiana Fever are ascending at the right time. They started off a little bit rocky, but as a league, as they kind of figured out their chemistry and actually, grew as a team, they've been able to cut down on mistakes. They still have a lot of turnovers. Caitlin Clark does turn over the ball a lot, but I think she'll kind of correct that somewhat in this series against the Connecticut Sun. Now, the Connecticut Sun are a very good team. I like Alyssa Thomas. She's like one of my favorite players. She's that triple threat scorer. Not only does she score, but she rebounds, she assists, and she also defends as well. So she's actually like a quadruple threat. But I don't think they have enough pieces and this matchup is just a bad matchup for them. They can guard Caitlin Clark fairly well, so I believe they'll be able to guard her enough to kind of contain her. But with Kelsey Mitchell and the others on the team able to make shots recently, I think they'll figure that series out. And I think they actually have Caitlin Clark more off the ball to kind of, to make those adjustments. Because she did have Caitlin Clark had a difficult time with that team. Dejanay Carrington is a very good defender, and she's a very good on-ball defender as well. So they're going to make it difficult. It's not going to be easy. So I had them winning the series 2-1. It's going to go down to that last game. Yeah, so, and then the next matchups I have, of course, you have the Liberty against the Aces. And I had the Aces winning that 2-1 going down to the game 3. That's the best out of 5. So I had them winning that series 3-2. So I think it'll come down to the last matchup. Like that's the repeat of the championship from last year. So it's going to be a very difficult one, very outdrawn one. But I just think the Aces' experience and their quest to three-peat is a little bit more than the Liberty are fairly ready to handle. The Liberty has been, they haven't been battle tested much this year. And I think the Aces are ascending at the right time. Aja Wilson just won the WNBA MVP today. Congratulations on that as well. So I think with that momentum, it'll push them into the playoffs. Then you have the Minnesota Lynx against the Indiana Fever, and I have the Lynx winning that one. I don't think this one will be as close. So I think this one, I think the Fever might win one game just because of the experience of the Minnesota and the lack of experience from the Fever. So Minnesota will be a little bit too much for the Indiana Fever. So I have that one being fairly easy. I got the Fever winning maybe one. I'll be surprised if they can win 2 in that matchup. So in the championship, I have the Aces against the Minnesota Lynx, and I have the Aces winning that matchup. I want to give the Minnesota Lynx a little bit of credit and a little bit more respect. So I think they'll win 2, but I think the Aces just be too much with their experience and their pedigree. Just that team and the way they rally around Aja Wilson and Kelsey Plum and just all of those pieces. And they had some pieces that were kind of unhealthy and injured. And I think they'll figure it out and get that team back healthy. So I do have the Aces winning it this year. It's not some kind of outrageous take. That's probably the safe pick in most people's eyes, but I just don't see many people being able to compete with them this year, just in their quest for the three-peat. It seemed like they're still hungry to win the championship this year. So I have them winning that, and of course I have Aja Wilson winning the MVP, capping off a perfect season for her. Yeah, so it's gonna be an interesting season. Like I said, I think they just need to fix the scheduling a little bit. Putting the games around Sundays around NFL, Sundays. Maybe they could have started on maybe Monday, but then you got Monday Night Football as well. So I kind of see the conflict there. In my opinion, they probably should have started these games yesterday. You had to compete with college football, but it's a football basketball crowd, so it's a little bit different dynamic there. But yeah, those are my picks for the NBA playoffs today, and the season going forward. Remember to subscribe and like the podcast, and thank you for watching another episode.